Saturday, 6 others injured. Congressman Mark Walker is a pastor and chairman of the Republican Study Committee. Joins us live to talk about this and other things. Welcome. It's good to have you with us.
Always a privilege.
I know you felt in your own community Saturday it was important to reach out to your Jewish brothers and sisters and constituents and spend some time with them.
Yeah, I was just riding around when I heard the news and headed to Temple Emmanuel, our local synagogue there in Greensboro. Just kind of slipped in the back road, just offering whatever support we could at that moment.
Well, I wanted to bring up something that comes from a piece today in The Hill. It's an opinion piece by Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, who we've had on the show before. He says, as yet more Jewish blood is absorbed into the earth, we cannot allow these events to be sharpened into political spears to be hurled against political opponents. That would only deepen the divides within a nation that direly needs to be healed. How do we heal from something as horrible as this?
Shannon, that's a great question for the 21st century, not just politics, but our age in general. It's almost like we have this thirst on both sides, waiting for any tragedy or anything to happen that we can spin it to a kind of a political advantage. It's a travesty, and as it is, and we should allow those people to grieve. We should grieve with them. But the fact that we're so quick to jump, I think it's a sad state of where we are as a country at this point.
All right, so let's talk about some things that are purely political, and those are the midterms. Watching very closely, I'm sure as everyone else is, some interesting polling numbers out of the LA Times with USC, and they talked about how people are mad at both parties. They're mad at both sets of candidates. And David Lauder, writing the LA Times, says this: the, quote, hold your nose and vote brigade makes up a sizable chunk of the electorate, according to the latest UNC Dorn's Life Los Angeles Times poll. With Election Day just over a week away, the poll indicates they lean toward the Democrats. That's the one reason Democrats remain favored to win back control of the House. And they're saying, listen, the base is going to turn out for both sides, but these people in the middle are kind of sick of everything, and they're going to hold their nose and votes. Yeah,
well, I'd rather they hold their nose and vote than not vote at all. Let's start there. But I was talking with my staff today. You can tell there's a little political fatigue going on throughout the country, the constant bombarding of these commercials in all these local districts of this person said this or that person said that. I can understand that. But I do believe that we're going to see an uptick for a midterm election. Even in North Carolina, there's no statewide race, but our polling is tracking. More people are coming out to vote. I think people are exercising that privilege. Will it be close in these midterms, specifically in the House? Very close, and too close to call at this point.
Well, and in the Senate, a number of fascinating races, the House as well. But today, Brett Baer on Special Report had Senator McCaskill on. And interesting, in the New York Times yesterday, they ran a piece about this, and it said, after years of running as far as they could from President Barack Obama's health care law, Ms. McCaskill and vulnerable Senate Democrats in Florida, West Virginia, and other political battlegrounds have increasingly focused their closing argument on a single issue, which is saving the Affordable Care Act. And we know that polling shows us across the board, health care is, if not the top, one of the top two issues for most voters out there. The GOP, though, is not trusted to handle it. Why aren't you connecting on that message? Because voters say they trust Democrats to do a better job of that.
Well, I think we have to continue to message specifically what we've accomplished. We were able to get the individual mandate repealed, which was allowing people not to be forced to buy a government product. But as far as Claire McCaskill and others in their district, I think my brother was born in Missouri, the Show Me State. I think a lot of these people want to see the results of what's transpired. And it's interesting because the Democrats are talking about how bad health care is right now. May I remind them that we're still operating under the ACA, under Obamacare. The only thing that we've been successful to our remiss is to be able to repeal that one particular component of Obamacare, of the ACA. So when they talk about pre-existing conditions and all the things they're concerned about, we're still under Obamacare. In fact, it was the Republicans who got through the House, the AHCA, that, unlike what we hear sometimes, kept pre-existing conditions, left the pre-existing conditions alone, made sure there was a pool for pre-existing conditions while trying to lower the premiums for everyone else.
Well, it is a huge issue as we have this 1 week left, so we know it's going to get talked about a lot. Congressman Mark Walker, thank you for coming in.
Always a privilege.
All right, next, the mainstream media turns on